What does that even mean, Bowers game?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another Kickstarter review, another special component review. And today I'm very excited to be checking out the Settlers of Catan upgrade box. This clearly is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this bad boy right here. It looks pretty, but is it useful? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think about it. Alright, so we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of the Settlers of Catan upgrade box from Nugget Games. So before we get started, I do want to mention that I have the box 1, the base box, which is only supposed to hold Settlers Catan and the Helpers of Catan, which I think is like some, just a couple card expansion. But as you'll see, it actually holds a lot more than that. So we'll take a look at the outside, then we'll take a look at the inside. Starting off, we have this nice wooden grain. I think it's burned in there or something like that. You can actually feel it. It's very nice. Also, at right there on the front, you have your nice little clasp right here, which will hold it open and closed. On the sides, you're going to have these heavy, like the kind of thing you'd see in a dresser, like these wooden handles. These are nice, sturdy. I mean, you're not going to worry about breaking this. Take a look at the bottom. There's the bottom. You got your clasp right there, which is just kind of a little hole. And then, I don't know how it all works together. I'm not a carpenter, so I'm not even going to try to explain it. Next, we have the base box. I'm just going to show you how large this box is as compared to the base box. I imagine some people are interested in that. So I'll scoot this all the way to the back, and as you can see, there's a pretty good deal right here. Let's see if I can find something for scale. Yeah, that's the worst thing ever for scale. All right, so terrible at this. Next, looking at the side, we got, you know, maybe about 1.5 to 2 inches here on the side. And also depth-wise, we'll slide it right next to there. As you can see, about that long. So it is a pretty good deal, bigger than the base game. But what you're going to be getting inside is definitely going to be a lot better than the box itself. Spoiler warning. So you start off right here, and as you can see, I got some stuff that's loose in here because, tricky me, I actually have the base game, and then I was able to sneak in Cities and Knights with no problem at all. So this is actually a dice tray, and also is used to hold your rule booklet. But as you can see, there is a good deal of space. There's probably about 3/4 of an inch here where you can store whatever you want, which is really nice. So, continuing forward, I will tip it over. Everything looks like this. Now you may notice that there's this big empty compartment right here. That actually is where you're supposed to put your tiles, but I put them somewhere else because there is so much space in this box for you to be able to store everything, which is nice. So pull this one out first. I'll show you here. This is where you're going to be keeping your wood, your sheep, all that good stuff. You can place it in the middle of the table, and boom, everything is nicely, neatly organized. They got these little slot inserts right here, which you can take out so you can accommodate it however you like, which is really nice. Also, another thing that I want to mention is that the tiles are going to go right here, and they even have this little spot so you'll be able to get your finger down there and kind of just flick them up. Very useful, just an ingenious little thing that you wouldn't think about until you actually tried to get the tiles out. In the back, there's a slot right here where I'm currently storing the little Cities and Knights upgrade things, and as you can see, they fit there pretty perfectly. Also, that's where I'm storing the outside things that are supposed to hold all the tiles in. Now, I don't always play with the Cities and Knights expansion, especially playing with newer people, so I keep it in the box of cards, and what do you know, it fits in there perfectly. Very nice. So let's take a look. This is a box that's supposed to hold the number tiles, but it's way big for that, so you slide it off. I actually have all of my tiles in here. I have the Cities and Knights, the dice, and the number tiles right there. And what's really useful is you got a handy dandy little organizer cheat sheet on the bottom, which is really cool. So continuing onward, and all this stuff slides right back on, as you can see. So you'll be able to just kind of slide it back in there. Pretty cool. Next, you're going to have 6. Yes, count them 6. Oh, there you go. 6, count them 6 of these guys right here, where you're going to be able to hold all the different pieces. So it does accommodate up to the 6-player expansions. This is the pink thing from Catan Big Game, in case someone's wondering, like, why don't I have those weird pink ones? Yeah, but I still keep it in there because I played the Catan base game. But it slides back on there, so everybody's going to have their own little organizer where they'll have all their stuff, so there's no sorting anything out. It's all exactly where you want it to be. Right here is where you can put like your starter player, the robber pawn, and the dice. But as I mentioned, there is so much space in this box. I have nothing in here, so there is so much more room to accommodate it. But that is what you're going to be getting inside the Settlers of Catan upgrade box, the base one from Nugget Games. Alright then, the Settlers of Catan upgrade box, the base box from Nugget Games, coming to a Kickstarter near you very, very soon. I'll be sure to post that Kickstarter link down below. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, it's not going to be for everybody. If you are tight on space as it is, this might not be for you because this is much larger than the base box is. Also, I imagine that's going to be the case with all the other upgrade boxes. So that is something of note. Also, this is completely unnecessary if you're tight on money. I mean, this is definitely a premium item here. You do not need this. The base box works perfectly fine. The expansion box works perfectly fine. But if you do have the money, then that's really not something of note. Another con that I have with this is that it's wood, and as such, you know, I kind of worry about if it falls off a shelf, it might shatter. Now, I'm not saying the thing feels fragile. No, this thing feels nice and sturdy, and I don't worry about it breaking with regular wear and tear, but, you know, if it fell out of the back of a car, it falls off a shelf onto a cement floor or something like that, yes, I would be worried about it breaking. Interestingly enough, I don't think there's any glue in these either, so in theory, I guess you could pop back on the piece or just get a replacement piece or something like that. I'm sure he will address that in the Kickstarter in the future. Any other cons I have with the upgrade box? No, I was thoroughly impressed with this. I really, really like my box. Now, Settlers of Catan isn't personally for me a game that hits the table too terribly often, but if it's a game that hits the table for you and you have the money to spend on this, I think this is absolutely something you might want to take a look at for a couple different reasons. First, as you saw in the video, I stored mine very differently from how you probably store yours, and how he was expecting me to store that, and how Billy stores his, because you might be upgrading something, or you might have pimped out your game or done something different, and this box is going to accommodate that no problem. It has all sorts of nooks and crannies and little holders, and as you saw, everything had extra space in there. This says it's just for the base game. I easily think I could have fit maybe 2 more expansions in this box. That might be pushing it, but needless to say, this thing is going to hold a lot of stuff, and it stores it in a very neat way, which is nice because you're going to be able to just open this up, get everything out. It even has the handy-dandy little cheat sheet ingrained on there, as I showed you, so you'll be able to set up, tear down easier, which will save you time, which is always a good thing. Another thing that I like about this box is that it is a centerpiece. If you're getting newer into the hobby, or if this is one of your favorite games of all time, or say Pandemic's one of your favorite games of all time, this is absolutely the kind of box that you can set somewhere, display it, because you can display it however you want. Nothing's going to come loose, which is always a nice thing. And it's just going to draw people's attention to it, which might potentially mean you get people to play your favorite game, which is always a good thing. Overall, the Settlers of Catan upgrade box, and I'm just going to speak for the upgrade box concept in general because I've seen a lot of them in person, they are incredibly cool. And I'll put it like this. If you have the money to spend on these boxes, and if you really enjoy that game, like you're never ever going to get rid of it, period, I think they're definitely worth the splurge. They are very cool, nicely made, well done. Settlers of Catan upgrade box. Very cool from Nugget Games. One that I definitely recommend you check out if you're in the market to upgrade some of your games. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know what are your thoughts on upgrade boxes and just, upgrades in general. Do you pimp out your games? Do you like those broken token meeple organizers? Me personally, I don't really have too many of them just because I can't afford them, but I really love the concept of them. Anything that's going to make the game easier to set out and put away to save you time, extra time that you could have on board game night is a good thing in my book. But let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.